about you guys.
She has a different voice and a different understanding.
Hello and welcome to OffSite Dirt. Today on the Dirt, we get to meet our good friend covering the architectural work that they do, the experience they have, and the projects that transcend from Illinois to Colorado, as well as the magnificent support and work for the industry. Audree, let's kick this off.
Thanks, Mark. I'm so glad that we're all here today. And for many of you that may not know, the Dirt is all about high performance and low carbon, really trying to build better. Today we have Nate. How are you, Nate?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're so happy you're here. Why don't you give us a little background about your company?
Well, we're coming up on our 30th year, and we're based in Evanston, Illinois. We have a presence in Boulder, Colorado as well. I've been doing this for a long time. Went to University of Colorado back in 79. I get to say I was there in the 70s for a good solid 3 months. But I got my degree there, went to Arizona State for my master's in architecture with an energy conscious design emphasis. And so we've been doing this a long time. And I also, I think, as Mark mentioned, I do work with industry. So industry, in this case, being the American Institute of Architects. And I've been involved at the national level with a number of committees. I was on the original 2030 commitment group in 2009. I was the national co-chair from 2018 to 19. I was on the National Sustainability Leadership Group, and then recently got off of the Committee on Climate Action and Design Excellence. And now I'm trying to get all that to the people, to the architects. I'm on the executive committee of the Small Firm Exchange. So it's been a wild trip. And also in my business, we have a division called Next House Alliance, which is an integrated high-end group, contractor, to interior designers, landscape architect, technology integrator, to take this to a higher level. And the other funny thing about me is I used to be a semi-professional skateboarder back in the day, but kind of still ride. The best skate park in Chicago is coming half a block from my office, so I may be in for some more riding pretty soon.
It's so beautiful. The 2030 is leading the industry from the beginning, right? From the very beginning of project starts. And I've always enjoyed that about you, that time that you give over and above what you give to the local area as well as your client base. And a little known fact is Nate and I met in 2011, thanks to our friends at Illinois Green and the Green Build Home Tour. I believe you had at least one house or more, maybe, every year that the Green Build Home Tour is there for their 9 consecutive years running. So yep. Cheers to you and your team.
No, thanks. Yeah, no, it's really fun to showcase our work to people beyond just our clients. You know, it's fun to talk about them and to get the public through. They're very curious about stuff, and there's nothing better than, seeing it in real time.
I love that you are energy conscious. I think that's an amazing statement. I think I want to use that more, Nate. And being in that space, how do you get smaller architectural firms to engage in the 2030 commitment and high performance?
Well, that's what I'm doing on the Small Firm Exchange. I have a new subcommittee that's specifically looking at why we have trouble getting smaller firms to engage. How do we get around that? And what format do we then give them information? I mean, right now, I want the group to figure this out, but my notion is that we do little 15-minute kind of YouTube feel videos, like something you could do every day at lunch instead of an hour that I think small firms may have trouble engaging with. And to kind of go through why are you doing this? Why should you do this? I should say, the vocabulary, and then the techniques, like how do you do this for a residence? How do you do it for a light commercial? And then all these other aspects of it, like carbon. And actually, above and beyond the 2030, the AIA has this new concept of framework for design excellence. And so it's sustainability, resilience, wellness, and social justice. And there's 10 parts to it. And that's actually what I'd like to get these smaller firms engaged with. And it's trying to get it integrated into their firm's culture. And so their firm's culture may be one person, a single practitioner, but, likely if you have 5 or 8 or 9, 10 people, you need to get this into your daily thinking. You shouldn't do this as like a after the fact justification. And once you start doing that, that makes it easier. The other thing is to take the intimidation factor away, because, right now, the 2030 commitment, you're supposed to be at 80% better than baseline. There is no one that's going to step into that and do that on their first project. Not going to happen. So how do you incrementally do this? The whole point is not to hit that target necessarily right off the bat, but to make logical progress rather, and just keep working at it, keep integrating this into your projects. And it's not easy. It's a step-by-step process that takes time to figure out. And we want to help, shortcut that by giving like some hints at that scale. Because I think the 2030 commitment, even though I was a part of it and we've had other small firms involved in it, has resonated much better with large firms. And we just keep wanting the small firms to engage. 75% of the AIA membership is small firms. It's really critical that they be involved.
I love that you're taking all those years of experience from 2030 and focusing on that huge percentage of the 75 for the small firms. I've got to walk and talk and learn about your projects over years, and your commitment to material use, your commitment to the design, the aesthetic, the flow, the organic calmness of these beautifully sharp spaces set you out as a leader for sure. And I'd like to ask, if we compare and contrast the difference between, let's say, business as usual versus high performance design, can you lead into the ramifications of that, Nate?
Yeah, so business as usual is basically what the code is at. So the code has definitely been getting better, and that's been helpful. So we look at like a chart, like a bell curve, and we've got our like forward thinking, that we don't really need to kick them. They get it. They're going to be the leading edge all the time. And we get the big chunk of the masses in the middle, and then we got kind of the tail end. And that code increase is for the tail end, because they need to be told they need to do that. But we really want to get that middle section where most of the people are, and we call it propel the bell. We want to move that thing forward on that path. And you can do that with kind of simple things, and then look at more and more complex things. And I think when you do enough projects, you realize what makes sense at that price point and what pushes it. So the things that push it, you can list those as alternates maybe. And maybe you can entice people to do it. We try and get people excited. We were talking before we came on about my little tricks with light, trying to illuminate things, like focus things based on sun angles on birthday monuments or special dates, your marriage or whatever you want, a kid's birth. And people just flip about that, because most of the stuff we do, honest to God, is stuck behind the walls or down in the basement in a mechanical room, and, fine, but it's not so sexy. Solar panels definitely got some, green bling. The batteries are now a big thing, electric cars, but there's nothing that freaks people out more than going, okay, my birthday at 12 noon is going to be in like an hour and a half. Everyone gather around and hide your cell phones and hope it's not cloudy out, and we're going to have a party. And it makes the story of the house forever.
And who knew that somebody could actually design like that, Nate, and you do it all the time. It's amazing.
I think in a past life, I must have been like one of those guys in the Inca, like, ooh, the eclipse is coming. That would have like made me happy to do that.
Well, we're happy that you share it. And I have a question for you. So your firm works from everything from affordable housing, super high end. And why does the high end market really matter right now?
Well, everything matters, and certainly affordable housing matters, but I think that there are not enough people taking this seriously at the high end. And the homes are going to get built. These homes, if it's business as usual, they're going to use literally 3 times the energy that a normal house uses. So there's an opportunity here. These people tend to be ready, willing, and able. Those are the 3 things, and a lot of projects don't have all 3 of those. So they are capable financially to do this. So this is the Tesla example that gets quoted a lot, to go high end and work your way down. They're going to be the leading edge with new technology because they can afford it. Even if it doesn't make sense, maybe economically, you can kind of green shame them a little bit to do it. And work that down so that then what was so unusual to do or expensive over time gets to be normalized. So a lot of things are like solar panels. When we started, my God, this was like stuff that NASA, freaks going to Radio Shack could only do, right? And now it's very plug and play. The cost, it's a commodity. It's gotten down to the price where it's insane not to integrate it in. And if you can't put it in initially, we pre-wire for the panels, we pre-wire for battery backup, leave enough room in the mechanical room, and wire in for electric car charging, because there is not a person who's going to be looking at a car in the next, moving forward, that isn't thinking that. Like that is, I've had electric cars for 10 and a half years now. And when I first got them, that was wild. That was really something. But now they're it's like every day there's another car company coming out with another car, and they're all really neat. But that's one aspect. It's really about, doing these houses right. So the bigger houses, we have the opportunity to do something amazing with these. And of course, the first question we ask them is, how small can we get the house so it's still, acceptable? We don't let them get away with wanting it gigantic, although it's happened. There's no question, but still what I want to do is make a informed decision on everything. And we've always wanted to print up really thick green mulligan cards. I don't know if that's even the right word, but like give the client 2 or 3, if you put in 6 shower heads, it's really bad. And they go, nope, I'm slapping one of those down. That's what I want. Fine. Got it. You make the decisions that work for you. We don't want this to be like a monastery. We want you to have fun with this, but informed decisions are the way to go.
They are, and I've met so many of your clients. You could tell the joy that they have of sharing and opening up their homes to others. That experience of the openness, the naturalness, the health and comfort is what you portray. The quality and the high aesthetic and welcomeness is what you deliver. Audree's been able to walk and talk and break bread with you in Colorado. I've been able to walk and talk and break bread with you in Illinois. And I request everyone take the time to meet Nate and his team and find a chance to walk and talk and discover your next project possibilities with Kipnis.
Oh, well, thank you. And our tagline, Audree, following what you're saying, I don't know where it is over my shoulder here, but high design, low carbon. That's been our thing for a long, long time. And we try really hard with that. And, I know there's a lot of firms that can do very high efficiency homes, and maybe they're not aesthetically so great, but maybe they can learn over time. And then there's people that do amazing houses that just don't understand this. And to me, that is what architecture actually is. It's art and technology, architecture. That's what we're trying to do. It's performance. And that's the idea of the framework for design excellence. It's not just about a beautiful building winning an award. The AIA is making all these awards transition to the framework for design excellence. They have got to be sustainable and resilient, have wellness and social justice components to them.
Wow, you're really ahead of your time. It's amazing that you've been doing this for 30 years. Your vast experience and also your contribution to actually building better and allowing people to understand how they can make these techniques and these simple adjustments to understanding that. And honestly, I think the thing about the light, and it's your birthday and you're able to see the light come in, I think that if more and more people could understand how great this experience could be, and actually, like you said, low carbon, we're really making some significant changes in the world.
And the new thing now is the embodied carbon. It is the challenge. It is a big challenge, and we're learning. I mean, that one is not as easy as the operational carbon. I think we've got that pretty well figured out, and I think the industry's got that fairly figured out. But the embodied carbon, that is hard stuff. But just like I said about the 2030, you do this kind of step by step. In my mind, you take your glasses and you set the focus for carbon, and you just kind of look at things a little differently, and we see where we can do it. And we're getting, just like back in the day, there were so few sustainable options for materials, just from a recycling standpoint. Now we're slowly starting to see more and more products starting to reflect a lower embodied carbon. So, it's the same thing though. The pricing is a little high right now, and that'll come down over time. So again, that goes back to what I was talking about with larger homes, that they can do this. They can help industry move that and start getting that price down where everyone can get the benefit of that. And not a second too late, actually.
Right. And with your, with your enthusiasm and contribution and allowing, being on these boards and really making the impact that you can is how it starts. So we are certainly so thrilled to have you here, Nate. Thank you, Mark, for being here. If you want more information, you obviously have it right here. You can go and check out his website. Nate, you are doing an amazing job. We're so thrilled that you're having success and that you are a trailblazer when it comes to saving energy and designing so much better. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for the talk.